Cybercrime is everywhere. While you go about your business, around the world criminals are actively plotting to steal from you and your organization. Many are organized under formal leadership. Some are in faraway countries. Others may be closer to home. Even nation-states are into it. That guy out front smoking a cigarette and making conversation? Maybe he works next door. Or maybe he's not the nice guy he seems. This presentation offers some perspective on the changing dynamics of the world around us, a world brought much closer by the information age, a world in which great advancements in technology have allowed global commerce and information sharing to flourish, but at the same time which has given crime cartels and petty criminals alike a new way to steal. Don't just take my word for it. Look at the numbers. This stuff goes on every minute of every day. I'd bet even you were targeted in the recent past. That email claiming to be from the IRS with questions on your last tax return, or from Facebook asking you to update your account information, or maybe from some lottery ready to reward you if only you first provide your personal details. Answer, and next thing you know, your bank account is empty, or your organization's new prototype is being sold to the highest bidder in some third world country chat room. I'm here today to help you and your organization learn how to avoid becoming victims of cybercrime. I know your time is valuable, so I'll be brief. In return, I want your undivided attention. Here are the rules. Rule number 1. Information security is everyone's responsibility. Nobody is immune from cybercrime. Cybercriminals target not only those who can get them what they want, but also those who can get them closer to what they want. In some way, shape, or form, that's you. Within your organization, it doesn't matter whether you're a janitor or the CEO, you still probably have access to the building, access to the organization's network, knowledge of or access to some important confidential information, knowledge of or access to some seemingly unimportant information that can be used by a cybercriminal to get them one step closer to the important confidential information they seek. Seemingly unimportant information might include the name of a client, the model of your computer, a project you're working on, the name of someone who works at your organization's help desk. Any of these make you a target, and based on the numbers, you will be targeted. When that happens, it'll be up to you to prevent cybercrime. Let me help you do just that. Rule number 2. Learn and always follow organization policies and procedures. Now, security policies, procedures, and controls are almost always designed by those with an expert understanding of cybercrime risks and techniques, and the best ways to prevent them. That's why you should learn them, and why they should always be followed. Even the best information security policies, procedures, or controls can be defeated if a person is tricked not to follow them, or is careless with their application. Think about it. It's a lot easier for a criminal to trick someone to open the door for them than it is for them to pick the lock. Now, you may be thinking that, of course I won't open the door for a cybercriminal, but cybercriminals train to be deceptive, to be convincing, and to take advantage of your better nature. It's not likely that a cybercriminal is going to come at you dressed in black with a ski mask. More likely, they'll come as an attractive member of the opposite sex, acting overly interested in you, or as someone convincingly claiming to be with your organization's IT team, or even as an unassuming teenager asking to use the restroom. The email from a cybercriminal? Probably going to look like it's from a trusted friend, or from an organization you already do business with. By understanding the techniques cybercriminals use, you will be able to recognize when they're being used against you and prevent you and your organization from becoming victims of cybercrime. This brings me to rule number 3. Rule number 3. Learn and understand cybercrime techniques. Social engineering is the term used to describe a wide collection of techniques that cybercriminals use to manipulate people. Social engineering can occur either through human interaction, such as in person or by telephone, or through a computer interaction, such as by email, through a pop-up window, by instant messaging, or through a malicious website. When you are engaged through one of these mediums, the cybercriminal will likely employ one or more elements of impersonation or deception in an effort to manipulate you, frequently with a pretext to coerce your cooperation. Sometimes the cybercriminal will simply employ surveillance to monitor you in the hopes you are just naturally careless with your handling of confidential information. Let's look at some of the more common techniques. Impersonation. Impersonation involves manipulating you while pretending to be a third party, or pretending to be you while manipulating a third party. For example, someone might call you pretending to be from the help desk and ask for your password or the name of the server you connect to. Or someone might demand access to your facility, claiming to work for the fire marshal's office. Or if you're in some important role and are not careful with your contact information, someone might claim to be you while calling someone else, like your payroll company, asking them to cut a check. This is known as identity theft. Surveillance. Surveillance involves the interception of your information, computer interaction, or verbal communication through physical proximity. Do you work with a laptop or smartphone? Someone might deliberately sit next to you on the train during your morning commute to observe your laptop use, or stand over you while you're working to observe the password you type or the PIN you use, a technique known as shoulder surfing. Or someone might stand in your building's outdoor smoking area in the hopes they overhear your phone use. This is known as eavesdropping. Even overhearing the name of a client could provide a competing organization with some advantage. Surveillance also includes something gross called dumpster diving, but this really goes on, so I have to explain it. It's when cybercriminals actually rummage through your organization's trash looking for documents that contain confidential information, usually things that should have been shredded but weren't. Computer-based deception. Computer-based deception leverages knowledge, social skill, and computer skill in an effort to exploit you in order to gain unauthorized access to a system, place, or information, or cause you to inadvertently install malware, some worm, Trojan, or virus backdoor, which enables such access. You're probably already familiar with at least some elements of computer-based deception. This is the domain of those fake emails claiming to be from someone you know, someone your organization does business with, or from some other party, seeking for you to disclose confidential information or visit a website. That technique, by the way, is known as phishing. Phishing doesn't always happen by email. It can also occur via internet chat, text messages, wireless networks, or similar electronic mediums. In some cases, those fake emails may not be soliciting a reply or instructing you to visit a website, but instead may be asking you to open an attached file, one which usually contains a worm, Trojan, or keylogger, types of malware that might enable a virus or backdoor access into your organization's network. This is known as mail attachment. There's also a subset of phishing known as spear phishing. This is a fake email designed by someone who has already performed some surveillance on you, making it extremely personal. It could appear as though it's from someone you know, wishing you a happy birthday, or from a restaurant near your office sharing its daily special, or even from a client with a question on a current project, all so you are more likely to be fooled by it. Human-based deception. Human-based deception leverages knowledge and social skill to gain unauthorized access to a system, place, or information. In addition to the techniques of computer-based deception applied in person or by telephone, this includes some additional well-known techniques, such as tailgating, piggybacking, and baiting. Piggybacking refers to the technique by which an unauthorized individual gains entry into a restricted location through the support of an authorized individual. For example, by striking up a conversation with the targeted individual immediately upon entering the organization's building to appear authorized and enable unauthorized entry. Tailgating is similar, except an unauthorized individual closely follows an authorized individual into a restricted location to obtain unauthorized access without any interaction. Baiting is when a cybercriminal deliberately plants some malware-infected portable media, like a USB stick or CD-ROM, in a visible public location in the hopes that an authorized individual will be enticed to bring it to a secure location and use it, resulting in virus transmission or backdoor access into the organization's network. Pretexts. Now, any and all of the previously discussed techniques are frequently wrapped up in some emotion-invoking circumstance in an effort to be more effective. This is known as pretexting. Pretexting preys on human emotion. This includes the tendency to want to offer concessions out of sympathy, compassion, urgency, guilt, friendliness, or sex appeal. The inclination to follow chain of command and defer to perceived authority or the threat of authority. The inclination to accept perceived legitimacy, follow others, and conform to organization or social norms. The inclination to avoid fear and suggestions of adverse consequences. Asking you to click on a link may not be as effective as an email seemingly coming from your organization's vice president demanding you visit a website to see why it's not working. The threat of authority, right? Or from your bank suggesting your account has been locked out and you should visit a website to unlock it. The threat of adverse consequences, right? That's the idea here. Cybercrime statistics prove that the above techniques are very effective when an untrained employee is confronted with them. Let me share a formula to help you remember what you've learned and better spot cybercrime. Cybercrime technique plus human/computer medium plus pretext equals caution. By understanding this formula and being aware of its component elements in a broad sense, you should be pretty well able to sniff out when something fishy is going on. For example, impersonation plus email plus authority/chain of command might be an email from someone claiming to be the server manager, asking you to click an embedded link to change your password. Bad idea. Deception plus in-person plus guilt/politeness might be someone carrying a heavy box asking if they can bypass security. Hold the box for them so they can properly check in instead. Surveillance plus in-person plus sex appeal might be an attractive member of the opposite sex chatting you up while you're out at lunch, except more interested about where you work and what you do than about you personally. Don't fall for it. So when situations like these come up, what do? That brings me to rule number 4. Rule number 4. Learn and understand cybercrime technique countermeasures.